And we're live. Sorry I'm late, guys. Just trying to get a bunch of stuff worked out. Make sure we're live on the campaign page. And it looks like we are. Yep. How's everyone doing this morning? Hey, Bashir. Yes, I'm joined by some of my favorite friends behind me here, as well as on the stream. Sorry if my voice is a little weird this morning, or afternoon, or evening, or whatever it is where you are. I seem to have come down with a cold. Well, so Bashir, it might just be us. I'm also sorry if the screen's a little bumpy here, but yeah, I know, right? Well, that's part of the problem with coming in. Oh, come on, you stupid camera. All right, are you gonna work better if I do this? Hey, Russ. Good to see you, man. I don't know why this computer does not like my hat. But it does not seem to. Nope. It's gonna go all weird again. All right, no hat. Oh well. How are you doing, Russ? Okay, we're starting to get some people in here. Well, welcome, guys. Thanks for joining me. Good. Oh, really? Going somewhere for Christmas or something? Well, guys, so for those of you who haven't been in a live chat with me before, and for those who have or whatever, heading to Kelly. Oh, I bet you're going to go see John. Are you going to go see John? I just learned recently you guys were brothers. um, but feel free to ask me any questions you guys have about Dawn of Madness. Let me know if there's any minis you guys want to see or anything like that. I'm here for you guys. So whatever I can, or if you just want to chat, that's good too. I'm good with any of these. I never really have a plan or anything. Oh, he just went to Florida. Never mind. Yep. Russ and John C. um, but yeah, so just let me know. Whatever you guys want to go over or anything. I have no plan or anything like that, so never do. So just let me know what you guys want to do. How far along am I with the various storybooks? Okay, so most of them not very far. I'm going to be honest. Emily is probably about 80% done, which is why the stories we've had for during the campaign or whatever have been hers. It's because those are the ones I could just copy and paste. So Emily's is really close. Like I said, probably about 80%. The others closer to 5 to 10% probably. We have a good outline of where we're going with them, but there's definitely a lot of work left to do on them. So I am a big part of the reason that we are a ways out on our delivery date. Just being honest. um, yep. Sorry. Have to. Sorry if my voice kind of goes away here. It's so it's your fault. I can't judge you. I did the same thing to my brother. He's um oh, that's a good question, Bashir. Okay, so yeah, but I did the same thing to my brother Russ. He is addicted to Kickstarter and board games now because of me. In fact, he's a backer on Dawn of Madness too. But okay, so Bashir, you're saying 2 years waiting is a safety net, but in all honesty, how likely is it that you deliver sooner? I don't know. It depends how the next 2 years go. So, sorry guys, the voice is weird. But hey, Stoltzy, good to see ya. Thanks for stopping in. So it depends how fast all the different books take to write. So like Emily's, we've gotten most of it done in 4 or 5 months probably. And I suspect that a lot of the rest of them are going to go much faster because we have what's the word? We know where we're going now. So like with Emily's, we were just kind of forging the path to see where it went, figuring out everything as we were going. And now with the others, we have a very good idea of where they're going, what they're going to be doing, stuff like that. So the process should accelerate now as we move into the other Wanderers. My hope is that we are definitely on time or early, especially since I only have to do 4 of them. So then the rest will be in the second wave. So, yeah, so my hope is that we will be on time or early. I think at this point, our delivery date is pretty realistic because most of the waiting, like I said, is going to be me. So as long as I'm able to get all the stuff going pretty quickly, then we should be okay, I think. So I mean, obviously, there's always the chance of delays, but I think 2 years is definitely reasonable and doable. So hopefully that all that answers that question there. But any other questions or anything you guys got right now? Or any models you guys want to see or anything? Yeah, I know, Russ. It's yeah, the problems with my current schedule and the stress from the Kickstarter. I don't even know where this thing came from. It just kind of appeared. Look, a Kickstarter surprise. um, Marquis, your comments are always amazing. I appreciate you being here. um, Jorgen, yes, so okay, so what we're recommending is get into the campaign now for $1. So we've got our excuse me, our what's it called? Spread the Madness pledge we just put in a couple days ago. So get in there for $1 and then you'll get all the updates. You'll get notified when the pledge manager goes live. You'll be in there when the pledge manager is out and that sort of thing. Hi, Marky. So if you're able to do $1 now, then you'll be able to upgrade to the core, otherworld, all in, whatever you want to do later when the pledge manager opens. And the pledge manager is going to be open for a very long time. We're looking at having it open probably, up to a year, maybe. Depending, because we're not going to shut it down until we absolutely have to for shipping and that sort of thing. So yeah, there will be plenty of time to upgrade your pledge later on or whatever as we go forward. So I totally understand about the low on funds thing. It's a terrible time of year to launch a Kickstarter. Yeah, there definitely will be. Hey James, good to good to see ya. And cool, glad that sounds good, Jorgen. And I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Please let me know if I am, and I'll correct it. um, but yeah, we reached a point where we're either going to launch this or we're not. So we launched it, and unfortunately, it was this time of year. Yeah, you might, Marquis. You probably will. It's well, okay, so Marquis, you're saying you want the all-in with minis as well as the standee version. You get both with the all-in. So if you're getting the gameplay all-in, you're going to get every standee in the game as hello? You guys hear me? Nope, it's not just you. Oh, and I'm back. Am I back? Can you guys hear me? It just said my connection went out. Sorry, guys. Yay, I'm back. Oh, still cutting out? Son of a gun. Huh. Okay. Shoot. Well, unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about it if we lose the connection here. Okay, good. Glad to hear it, Amy. And hi. Okay, so what was I saying? Okay, the all-in. Okay, good. Okay, so with the all-in, you're going to get both the standee version and the minis. So you don't have to buy both. You definitely don't have to buy both. That would be crazy. But so if you buy the gameplay all-in, you'll get everything except for the Watchers and Faces of the Sphere. Which, if you're an early backer, then you would still have the Watchers. And if you're a Deep Madness backer, then you might have Faces of the Sphere already. Then we just give you the new stuff. But you're definitely not going to have to buy both versions. Having said that, yes, you should definitely have time to look at getting the all-in in the Pledge Manager. So hopefully that answers your question there. It's definitely going to be available for you for quite a while. And the advantage to doing it with such a long Pledge Manager is, yes, Amy, exactly. It's going to make everything very portable to just take one place or another, because the minis, well, except for the expansion boxes, but you could probably just put the expansion stuff you needed in the core game box and take with you or whatever. Or if we end up unlocking the big storage boxes, we'll see. But oh, that's a good question. I'll get to that in just a sec, Amy. The So yeah, you could just take that stuff with you and leave the minis at home for the most part, because like the core game has the minis box, so they actually are separate. So, but yeah, so and the just lost my train of thought. Oh well. um, uh, So, okay, Amy, I'll get to your question now because I completely lost my train of thought on what else I was talking about. So here we go. Yes, there will be enough bases for all of the standees in the game. So if there's a standee, there will be a base for it. At least that's my understanding of it. I think I don't remember how many it said we have on the on in the core game on the campaign page. It does say on there somewhere though how many there's going to be. Um, um, okay, so Fargion, that's a good question. So if you look at the campaign page, like at the all-in section, you'll see that there's a core game box and then a miniatures box. So basically what's happening is in an Otherworld pledge, you're getting both the core game box and the miniatures box. So there's the two separate boxes for that pledge level, plus all the stuff we've unlocked, and the clockmaker, the writer, stuff like that. Um, those will all be separate boxes, at least at this point. But I suspect that's what's going to end up being. Um, okay, so Bashir, we actually added a section on the campaign page about the changes. We didn't label it, however, because I didn't have that graphic when I added that section. But directly under all the stuff you get, there is a so under the Otherworld and all that stuff. Let's see where it is here. Might be stuff. Yeah. So right under the all in, there's also a section on what's new. My hope is maybe today to get a title for that section. It's directly above the videos, so people have to see it before they get to the videos. And maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll do like a little video or something about some of the changes and stuff. But so that area is on the campaign page there that lists a lot of the major changes that yeah, I know, Russ, right? Sorry, just saw your comment about making promises. um, um, so sorry guys. Let's see here. So yeah, there is that area. How do you highlight my name? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Marquis. Everyone's names just pop up on the screen as I'm talking here, so that's why I'm also very distracted. But as far as the pledges, I don't know that there's much more we could do to clarify that, Bashir. Since says, this is in the core pledge, this is in the Otherworld, this is in the all in. Fargion. Okay, sounds good. See you in a minute. Okay, Marquis. So, production-wise, would it cost too much to paint a base color all minis and dip them in a quick shade? Because I would buy that. Yes, it would. We are unfortunately... So, Awakened Realms, to my understanding, is somewhere around like 40 people, and we're somewhere closer to 5. So, yes. Not doing it, Russ. Not doing it. Just saw your comment about blinking. Anyways, so unfortunately, we're not going to be able to offer that sun drop thing. Yes, exactly. They're also a painting studio. So it's very easy for them to do things like the sun drop. Whereas for us, we would have to outsource it, which would cost a ton of money. We couldn't control the quality like we would want to. And it would not be a good thing. So no, unfortunately, sun drop is not going to happen. Sorry about that. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. Maybe I should go see Emily about that cough. I know, right? Yeah, this cold wasn't a big deal until this morning, and now suddenly I can't talk. But oh, marquee. Okay, so I see what you're saying. So when yeah, so when you tag someone in a post, it highlights them so that they know that they are being dinged or whatever. So like every time someone says at Dimension Games, I'm getting one that's highlighted in red too. So that's why it's like that. Um um yeah, as Amy just said. um okay, so let's see here. Yeah, exactly, Amy. So if we get a private person to do it, especially with as many minis as we have, and each one being unique, so it's not like you could speed paint them even really. Um, yeah, it would be expensive. um, yeah, exactly. Hey, Anthony, welcome, my friend. Good to see ya. Congratulations on the art book, by the way. um, Yeah, yeah, Russ, you're right. So there are some really good, and actually, Games Workshop just released their contrast line of paints, which can make it really a lot easier for beginning painters to get their armies painted up or what. Well, in this case, it wouldn't be armies, but their minis painted up. Um, and I've seen some of the things people have done with the Deep Madness minis with contrast is crazy. So it's I think that it might be that might be a good thing to look into for, also for people who just want they want them painted but they don't want to spend a lot of time on them, that sort of thing. The contrast paints seem to be a lot easier to just paint everything really quick. Um, but oh, yeah. So there you go, Marky. um, Marky, I love flavor text so much. I would like to have some on the dice. Well, didn't you know that each die face tells its own story? They're all domains, so each one stands for something different. Yeah, so like, yeah, you've got your oh man, I don't even remember the new names we've come up with for these. But each die face tells its own unique story. They're just like story dice, except there's so many of them. So there you go. Flavor text on your dice. um, yeah, I agree, Russ. I agree. The sun drop can look really good, but it's even better when they're actually painted. Um, yeah, Fair Gian, absolutely. Um, as far as the painting and that sort of thing there. Um, I bet you're not that bad, Bashir. Yeah, Anthony, I haven't had too much of a chance to use them yet. I did buy some of them, but I'm hoping to try them out here before too long on the contrast paints and that sort of thing. Um, dice for the dice jar, tokens for the token throne. Yeah. um, So those tokens will have same icons as the dice or new icons coming for everything. Okay, so Russ, that's a great question. The tokens are for sentience. So dang it, I don't have oh, do I have a domain card? Because this will illustrate this better. Because I realized after um I am not at my house, which is why I don't have all of my stuff at hand. Um, but let's see here. If I have a domain card, that would help talk about what we're talking about with the metal tokens. Nothing? Left them all at home. Okay, unless there's some in here. Not a single domain card. Okay. Oh well. Oh, wait, what's this? A domain card. Yay. Okay. So, these are sentient symbols. And these are what got replaced. So in the um so on each dashboard there's 5 different, or there's the big symbols, which are the domain symbols. Then in between those there are tiny little symbols which reflect the different colors, and those are the sentient symbols. So these are sentient symbols as we have them in the campaign. So this one's a thumbprint, this one's a tongue, there's a nose, there's an eyeball, and they basically were supposed to stand for the 5 senses. And when I saw that, I was like, that's not what sentience means at all. So, so these are what are going to be on those metal tokens, is the sentient symbols, and that's what we replaced. Not the domain symbols. The domain symbols, which is domination or squiggly tentacle fingers, or the brain, which I think was lucidity we were thinking about, or mentality, and the eye, and all those are domain symbols, and those are staying. So hopefully that helps answer your question a little bit there. So the dice aren't changing, and neither are, like, on the dashboards, the big symbols, that sort of thing. Those are all going to stay. The only thing that are going to change are the sentient symbols, which are what those metal tokens will have on them. Okay, so let's see here. So hopefully that answered your question. If it didn't, or if it was clear as mud, let me know. Oh, Amy, yeah. So yeah, same thing. Creepy hand symbol not going away. I love that one. It is fantastic. It is definitely staying. And unfortunately, I don't have anything except what's on the dice to show you the different symbols or whatever, but those are all staying, promise. Oh, okay, so William, here. So William, I just saw your comment here. If someone wanted to get a hold of you about a more in-depth question, how would we reach you? Here, I'll just type my email here into the comments. But it's basically byron@dimensiongames.com. Make sure I spelled that right. Yes. So you can send me an email at that email address, which I just sent you, and then I should be able to get back to you. So I've been pretty terrible about emails during the campaign, and Facebook messages. I also do a lot of our Facebook messages and stuff, and those have suffered dramatically. But I will get back to you as soon as I can on that. If you want to send me an email there, promise. So still can't figure out how to change my username. Stupid YouTube. Sorry, Vergion. Well, hey, if you've got something else you prefer for us to call you, just let us know and we'll call you that. Oh, hey, Himley, good to see ya. Oh, wait, you are Vergion. Never mind, you figured it out. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so let's see here. Every spear metal box I used ended up in the trash. Well, you know, Bashir, another thing is there's some really great painters in the Deep Madness Universe group. Um, Fabio Bella, actually, he's a gentleman who he's been actually looking to do some painting work and that sort of thing. He's kind of trying to get started a little studio or whatever. So you might want to try hitting him up. You know, if you have some minis you want painted or that sort of thing. And there's some other guys too who do a really good job. I know we got a set of Deep Madness figures painted by a company. Well, it's a guy, but his company's called Game Turners, and they're really nice. But yeah, maybe try Fabio. I think he's in Italy, so there might be, you know, some shipping charges or whatever. But Um, Okay, so Marquis, you're saying, I see that some minis have a planar base with no 3D relief, and some have some nice sculpting on the base. Please make them all have sculpted bases. They do all have sculpted bases, actually, Marquis. So what's going to happen is they all have the nice sculpted bases, but it's just as we were going, some of them didn't. We didn't always have the sculpted bases. I guess I should say that. So that's why you have some minis that have a more normal base and some minis that don't. So the minis that don't have the newer bases, and the original bases, just the plain flat ones, um, those are older models by and large. But all of them will have bases kind of like this, where it looks kind of cracked and craggy and stuff like that. This is actually one of just our normal bases just glued onto this particular mini. And same thing like here with Eminent Glory. Um, so that's the kind of base that'll be on every mini. And then you have some where they have kind of their own built-in base, like our fire punishment guy here. But these bases will actually still be mounted on one of these bases. So they'll all have one of the craggy bases on the bottom of them. So hopefully that helped answer your question a little bit there. Yeah, Emily. Yeah, so I just saw your comment about the tiny symbols. That was a big okay, there were two big reasons I wanted to change the sentient symbols. The first was because I didn't like the five senses idea. The second was because at a small size, especially for yellow and green, it got to be almost impossible to tell them apart. So the new symbols, that's one thing I really like about them, is that at very small sizes, you'll still be able to tell them apart. So that's something that I'm happy about with the new sentience symbols. And I'm not saying they're even necessarily the final versions or whatever, but they're definitely closer than the census ones were. Um, oh, okay. Let's see here. So Anthony, just seeing you. Hey Russ, good to see you, man. Um, glad you like the update. Yeah, I'm glad you liked Linus's story there, Russ. That's awesome. Yeah, he's always been one of my favorite characters. Um, and yeah, I'm really glad that people are getting to know him a little bit better there. So, um, Russ, yes. Sorry, other Russell. We once again have, I think, three Russes on the stream, but the tentacle fingers. Yes, that is my technical term for domination hand or whatever. The squiggly tentacle fingers. And yes, I do love that calling them that, and I probably always will. Russell Groves, that is an out and out lie, and you know it. Just saw your comment about if he blinks, then it's a promise. 48 hours working every 24-hour day. Yep, that's about it. That is about it, Anthony. Okay, so Himley, you have asked about the size of the mental tokens, and the honest truth is I don't know. So I'm going to guess they're kind of tiny because we need them to still fit in the little cups on the Wanderer dashboards, the little cutouts on there. And you need to be able to have 6 in one of those little cutouts. So I'm going to guess they're not the biggest things. But having said that, I don't really know because all I've seen is as much as you guys have seen, which are the renders. So unfortunately, I can't 100% tell you one way or another if um Well, hey, Warpseek, thanks for joining us from Germany. Man, good to see ya. Um, uh, okay, so let's see here. Hopefully that answered your question, Himley, and if not, let me know. Um, yeah, size doesn't matter. It's how you use them that counts. uh, I'm sorry. So justified through him. Um, so the game. Okay, so I'm thinking maybe. Oh, here we go. Here we go. So with the game mechanics, are the only models starting on the board currently the Wanderers and the Abomination, with other models starting based on cards and story events? Yes. In the original version, there were malformations on the board as well, starting off. But in the current version, there's only the Wanderers and the Abomination. So the Abomination is going to be rampaging right towards you at the start of the game. You won't be able to defend yourself. You'll just have to run, try to get you some resistance cards. And then other minis are going to pop up through story events, through round events in the event phase, and that sort of thing. So chances are you'll start off with a mini or two in the event phase, would be my guess. When you're setting up, yeah, it's only going to be the four Wanderers and the Abomination currently. So hopefully that answered your question a little bit. If you're using other terrors, how will those be able to be spawned rather than the Wanderer specific terrors? Okay, so that's a good question. So you're going to have a terror deck. I should have brought all my stuff. I still have the game. Oops, sorry. The game set up at my house, so that's why I don't have all the components here. But so you'll have a terror deck, which has all of the cards for all of the different terrors that you have in this game. So that'll be all of the distortion terrors, the non stuck ones, and then you'll have all of the Wanderer specific terrors. So all of those are going to go in that deck. And then maybe sometimes it'll just tell you to spawn a random monster from the deck. In that case, you just take one of those cards, throw it out. Sometimes it might tell you a specific monster, like for the Wanderer that you're playing through, or for that chapter. So so you'll get those from that terror deck, and then spawn them that way. So and you can have whatever terrors in that deck that you want. You just have to have the three that are specifically tied to that Wanderer as well in there. So hopefully that helped answer your question. Let me know, though, if you need it further clarified. Okay, so Marquis, you're asking how many minis are created, 3D software, 3D printed, clay sculpting molds, master molds. How did they remove them if they're so crooked? Where are they made? Who made them? That was a lot of questions in one. Okay, so first, most of our minis are, I think all of them for this campaign are 3D sculpted. So in Deep Madness, we had a ton of minis that were hand sculpted, and I really love the hand sculpting look. The problem is, as anyone who has seen Unbound can attest, or Dimension Rift, or some of those others, the scale can sometimes be really off. So Dagon was another one. Like the team had no clue that they were going to be the size they were going to be until we actually saw the minis, and it was too late. So because they were all sculpted by different people. So that's why you have all these various sizes that don't seem to fit in Deep Madness, is because a lot of them were hand sculpted. So we got away from that in Dawn of Madness so that all of them can be the same size, or in the same scale at least, not the same size. But yeah, so they're all 3D sculpted for this particular project. The 3D software used, I don't know. I'm going to guess ZBrush, because ZBrush is the most popular. But I don't know. That is completely a guess, directly off the top of my head. Um, and then once you have the model 3D printed, then it is taken in resin. They make them in resin. Then it is taken, and often they accentuate a lot of the details and that sort of thing to try to get as much detail in the final plastic as possible. So then they'll work on that for a while until we have a master that we all agree is a perfect one, and then they will start creating molds for those. And the molds are made of metal. They're steel molds. This process is called tooling, and then you start tooling these models. You start working them over and over to get as much detail as possible into the final plastic. And each time you have to melt down the molds and then make new ones and all sorts of things. So it's a really crazy process. Um, but eventually you end up with something that hopefully is a really high quality mini with lots of details and that sort of thing. So hopefully that answered a lot of your questions there. Oh, okay. So you also asked where are they made and who made them. So our main manufacturer for minis is I think they're called Starry Games now, if I'm not mistaken. They used to be, and they might still be tied with them. I'm not sure. They used to be the minis factory for Ludofact, um, and but they broke off on their own. They're doing their own thing now, and we were kind of one of their first um, clients for to showcase their mini quality. So actually, a lot of like the Deep Madness stuff was kind of like, hey, this is what we can do, because it was one of their first projects that they did as their own studio, as opposed to being tied with Ludofact. So so that's yeah. So we have a really good relationship with them, and they're going to be doing Dawn of Madness as well. Um, but yes, I'm 90% certain it's Starry Games at this point who makes them, and they're a manufacturer in China. Um, oh, Anthony is asking, have we had any rages for the social goals? I don't know that we have yet, Anthony. Not that I've seen. So I've come to realize that Facebook is not showing me all of the posts because people keep saying, "Why didn't you post this one?" And it's because, um, yeah, I didn't see it. So if I missed something, as someone's watching this and I missed it or whatever, let me know. I would love to get that out to you guys. So or show it in an update, that sort of thing. Um, so let's see here. Yeah, so Russell, just saw your question there about super small, so maybe make them stackable or something like that. That's certainly possible. I do know that they will have a little bit of a what's the word? Kind of a bubble over the top of them a little bit or something like that. But potentially, yes, potentially that could be doable. We'll just have to see how they all work out. Because obviously, if they're too small, we're not going to do them. But hopefully, we'll be able to, you know, make them a good size and still all fit, one way or another. Okay, so let's see here. Emily, just saw your comment about throwing them at people. I mean, you still could. It'd be really funny if they got what. No, that wouldn't be funny. Never mind. Anyways, um, uh, let's see here. So justified through him is so you could somewhat customize the possible terrors that show up. Cool. I think that does answer my question. Thanks. Okay, cool. Glad to hear it. Yes, you can definitely customize those terrors. You can throw in as many of the ones that aren't stuck together with the wanderer as you want. Um, Okay, well, thanks for stopping by, Russ. It was great talking with you, man. And yeah, I'm thinking this will be a shorter one today. But thanks for stopping by. It was great to visit with you for a while. Okay, Amy is asking, what is the final material for the models? So it's going to be a really hard version of PVC, I believe. So it's not going to be hips or that sort of thing. Hips is just too expensive, and the process for it is too involved. Though I will say our next project, Celestial, will be using hips, but that is a different type of project. It's that one. The yeah. So the for this one, they're going to be a very the best example is the Deep Madness minis. I don't know if you have Deep Madness or not, Amy, but if you wanted to take a look at those, like pictures on Facebook, that sort of thing, that might give you a good idea of what to expect from the Dawn of Madness minis because they will be similar. They'll be a very hard, um, but still slightly bendy, so they don't shatter when they hit the floor. Type of plastic. Probably most of them will be PVC. Parts of them could be ABS. The bases, I believe, will be ABS for sure, because they're separate from the models and then just put on here. But the so yeah, that should hopefully help answer a little bit about what the final materials for those minis will be. Um, Where is Kevin hiding? I don't know, Himley. Go bug him. Where is that guy? um, he should just unlock all stretch goals just in case. Well, I mean, technically, Russ, we kind of did. I don't know that we have any more social stretch goals because we just did the tutorial chapter. So I don't know what we have apart from that. So, I mean, I love seeing people still posting stuff. I just don't know what I'm going to do to, to fill that, void. um, One stuck in the nose? I have no idea what that is. Referring to him, sorry. um, um, Yeah, so Anthony, you're absolutely right. Hips normally does come um uh the hips normally is more on a sprue, that sort of thing that you have to assemble. So like I said, we are going to do that for Celestial. We actually just received some of the first Celestial sprues in our Chinese office, which was super exciting. They look so good. Um but but yes, that's definitely Celestial as opposed to this because that one is more of a uh, it's more along the lines of a collector's uh, type of project. So the models are bigger, they're multi-piece. There's not going to be as much like probably some of our smallest models in that one are, or the average size of model is probably about a Numina size. So they're big. They are really big, and so they'll be multi-piece models because of that. Yeah, and Oathsworn did use hips, and I think that they said they were actually going to be assembled, which sounds really expensive. But good luck with that, guys. Um, but another company is obviously Kingdom Death. They use hips for all their models in the game, that sort of thing. As long as you don't make them out of resin. I hear you, Himley. Oh, resin is a pain in the butt. I don't mind the stuff until it breaks. It shatters so easily. Like we Regarding throwing tokens. Yes. Okay, gotcha. But yes, oh, resin is, I love the detail, but my goodness. Every time we go to Gen Con and we have 20 different broken models because they couldn't survive the 2 day shipping. Uh, yeah, resin's awful. Anyways. Okay, so Russ, this is a good question. Have you got a general first draft outline for all Wanderers' general background story, or do you still need to create some? All of the general background is pretty well known, so there's still a lot of room to work with them and to to fine tune the stories and that sort of thing. There's still a lot of breathing room, I guess, is what I'm saying. But the sorry guys, the my voice is just not cooperating anymore. Okay, so the what were we even talking about? The stories. We're talking about the stories. So a rough outline's in place, but there's a lot of breathing room still to get to expand on, which is how I like to work. I am not a huge fan of having 10-page outlines or that sort of thing. I'm more of a let's just dive in and see where this thing goes kind of writer. So, which can be good and bad. I mean, it can be really bad sometimes, especially when suddenly the stories are like, nope, I'm not coming. But yeah, so for the most part, how I write, which is also like how Stephen King likes to write, Neil Gaiman, some of the other, big authors who I respect work as well. But yes, there is at least a general outline for every wanderer in place. Better quality than the ones we got with DM. Okay, I'm sorry, Himley. I'm not actually sure what that was referring to. I'm guessing it was the minis for Dawn of Madness. If that's the case, I'm sure that we will continue to refine them as much as possible before they make it to you guys. And processes are changing all the time, even in industries that seem like they are so settled. There's still a lot of more. There's constant progress and that sort of thing. And Starry Games is really on the front lines of a lot of that stuff. Like they were the first company to. In fact, they might still be the only company. I'm not positive. I think a lot of the others are trying to catch up, but like they were the ones who created like the other 7 Sin models and stuff like that when they were under Ludofact and stuff like that. So they're really at the front lines of like the refining the PVC stuff and that sort of thing. Okay, so Carl, you're saying with the new cards, are they going to get switched out between each section of the chapter just when a card instructs you to do so? Okay, so what specifically cards are you thinking of, Carl? Are you talking about resistance cards? If you're talking about if you're talking about resistance card, then those are different for every actually most of the cards are different for every chapter. Actually, almost every card is different for every chapter. The only ones that might change or might continue from chapter to chapter would be things like the terror cards for those that aren't tied to a specific wanderer. And then you have the see what other cards might transfer. Obviously, anything that you gained from chapter to chapter, memories would transfer. If you had any codas that you earned in a certain chapter, that would transfer. I don't know if that answered your question or not. If you're specifically talking about resistance cards, those are going to change in every single chapter that you're in. So, so hopefully that helps. I'm not positive it did, but hopefully it did. Geek, good to see you too. Thanks for being here, man. Um, how does the campaign work? As I understand, one Wanderer is one chapter. So if I play one Wanderer, the chapter is one chapter long. If I play five, it's 5 chapters, 5 boss fights. Okay, so that's a great question. Okay, so the way it's set up right now, if you wanted to play with just one Wanderer, it would be like you're saying one chapter. If you wanted to play with 5 Wanderers, you're breaking the game. But you do you. um, it's the game is designed for 4 players, so or a maximum of 4 players. So, is it technically possible to do it with 5? Yes, but it would probably take a lot of house ruling because it's all designed around 4. Um, but in that situation, if in a 4 Wanderer, um, a 4 Wanderer campaign, the you would have the 4 different chapters, and then at the end you would have one final boss fight. So the way that it's worked out so far is the wanderers will all be collecting story points towards their particular endings, and actually everyone's collecting story points towards every ending. It's not just this wanderer is collecting their story points, everyone's doing it for every ending. um, and then at the end of the campaign, you're going to add up those story points, and whoever has the most story points towards a given ending, that's the ending that's going to trigger. Now, the other Wanderers will get some sort of a conclusion as well, but it's not going to be like a full-fledged final boss fight. And they're also going to influence the ending too. So you might get the really good ending as the final battle or whatever, because each of the endings is so there's the really bad ending, there's the really good ending, there's the kind of mediocre ending, and then there's the just weird ending that ties in with the world and that sort of, and the Golden Dawn and that sort of stuff. So you might get the really good ending for your Wanderer, which is rare, but then the other Wanderers might get their really bad endings, so they would have a little bit of a conclusion there, and then they would also influence your really good ending in the negative. So it's really kind of a conglomeration of all those different endings in the finale, but one Wanderer's ending will take the precedence, and that's the one you're going to be playing through. So now you'll get a good idea of all of the different stories, even without even without getting all the endings. So it's not like you're not going to have any idea what's going on. In fact, your idea of what's actually going on might be very different than the ending you get, because you might tease out some details that are for a different ending that could really reshape your version of what's going on in the story. But the final confrontation, like say you get the really bad one, but you got some good stuff, so you know that everything you're hearing in this final confrontation in the really bad one is not true. But so it's all just I guess I'm saying that you will have a very good idea of the story even just without getting the finale for that particular Wanderer. I suppose is what I'm saying. And there might be ways around that, doing different endings, that sort of thing. But for the most part, that's how that would play at this point. So hopefully that helped you. Hopefully that wasn't clear as mud. It might have been clear as mud. If it was, I apologize. Yeah, Anthony, just saw your comment here about love resin for paint and display, not so good for gaming or dropping. Resin, you are the bane of my existence. Yeah, yes. Even painting it, it seems like I'm always snapping some little resin piece off, and I'm like, son of a god! But yes, I digress. Okay, so let's see here. Custom pluck foam cases are. Oops, I just lost your comment. Oh no, where did you go, man? Oh dear. Wow, I'm way behind in comments. Sorry, guys. Custom pluck foam cases are your friend when it comes to transporting resin minis. It doesn't help. I've always packed them in foam cases. They still break. Anyways, yes, you are right, Russell. They will arrive in much better condition than they would otherwise. Oh, King of Average, good to see you, man. Glad you're here. Welcome. Um, what is the system for anti-spoiler? I am unfortunately not sure what that comment is referring to, Marquis. If it's referring to the storage system or the saving system, um, it might be. If that's the case, let me know farther down. I'll get to it eventually. But it seems that I'm way behind, so let me try to catch up here. Um, uh, Truth time. How many chapters or pages have you finished for Shattered Seas? Oh, Russ, I'm not sure because I've been so focused on Dawn of Madness recently. Um, it is not where I want it to be. I will definitely tell you that. Um, I'm not sure. I'm not sure the exact number off the top of my head. Um, but my hope is that the I'm hoping like to take a month after this campaign to just bust through that book because I know exactly where it's going. That's the annoying part. I just haven't had time to write the thing. um, so, in answer to your question, not sure off the top of my head, nowhere near where I want it to be, but I'm hoping to catch up really quick. Um, yes, Celestial, I am looking forward to that one as well, Himley. Um, uh, yes, and I agree with you, King of Average. Starry games are great. I don't. They probably did do Death May Die. I know that they did. They do a lot of. They've done a lot of Come On's big projects, so it wouldn't surprise me, especially if it's one that they really wanted to do the miniatures well in. So yes, I would imagine they did do that one. Oh, World Shard cards. Okay, Carl. So I think your previous comment was, do what cards carry over? World Shards do not carry over at this point. In the current version, each World Shard is going to be its own. Sorry. In the current version, each chapter will have 16 of their own World Shards. So, and each one will also have an encounter printed on it for that chapter. So the world shards are no longer going to carry over from chapter to chapter. They will be chapter specific, which is also why there's going to be some more variation between the different chapters, because you're not going to see the same ones from chapter to chapter anymore. So hopefully that answers your question a little bit there. The world shards are now going to be chapter specific. Oh, good morning, Singapore. It's great to see you, 3D Fuzzy. And I love your name. That's awesome. And hello from France. Good to see you, Jerome. Thanks for stopping by. Um, um, okay, let's see. Oh, Doc Graves, welcome, man. I remember you guys saying the game didn't work with the malformations coming out at different time. What made you change your mind? Also, hi, Byron. Hi, Doc. um, so the what didn't work as well was advancing your character throughout the course of the game. So, because it broke a lot of things. So, in other words, when you do this, you advance to this level, when you do this, you advance to the next level, that sort of thing. Hiding them inside the stories is a very different thing. So they can still come out at any point and do their thing. They're still independent, but they are not going to. It's not like your wanderer is going to be replaced by one of the malformations, and that's what didn't work, and that's what kind of broke things. So, but having them come out at different times, that's perfectly doable. And that doesn't harm anything. In fact, for me, it makes it much cooler because now you absolutely cannot touch the the abomination at the start of the game. So, which to me is, I'm all about that sort of thing. So that's great. But so hopefully that helped answer your question a little bit there. Now, having said that, there are endings where you're still going to change into different versions. But in that one, it's okay if we break it. Because normally when you're becoming your different versions of malformations, you're no longer a good guy. So like in one of Emily's endings, she starts becoming one of the malformations. And in her worst ending, go figure. So throughout the ending, she slowly is corrupted into her malformations, and each time she has to take a test to see if she's going to still be able to attack enemies, or if she's going to attack her fellow wanderers, or that sort of thing, or if her actions are just wasted, that sort of thing. So, and then at the very final round of that ending, I guess spoiler alert, but she will she's completely a bad guy, and one of the conditions for the other wanderers to win is you have to kill her. So at that point, you're pretty well screwed. You're probably not going to kill her and twin sister. Uh, so yeah. So that's hopefully that helped answer your question a little bit. And if I just spoiled something for people, I'm sorry. um, oh, good 3D Fuzzy. I'm glad you really like that new insert. Awesome. Yes, that is something I am very excited about and have been for a while. So I'm glad we could finally show that to all you guys, or at least it didn't look like they showed the full insert, but just one of the little boxes for the different wanderers. But yeah, so um, oh goodness, let's see. Boy, I'm so far behind on this, guys. I'm sorry. Um, so Doc is saying, how do you think the game scales? So I think that this is something that's going to be worked on more as we progress forward, Doc. Um, for me, I I I have played it as one wanderer and I've played it as four wanderers. Um, I prefer four, but that's because I like having more choices. But it is perfectly playable as one wanderer as well. Um, so now, like one thing I think we'll have to work on in development is like this the synergy fusion action. Because right now that's only for one wanderer, or not for one wanderer, for multiple wanderers. So I think we'll have to figure that out a little bit as we move forward and that sort of thing. Um, but as I to me, I enjoy playing it at one, and I enjoy playing it at four. So I think scaling wise, it works. But obviously, others might disagree with me on that. Um, and I'm not sure I'm actually even answering your question, which I apologize for. But scaling, as I said, is also something that I think will be worked on as we move forward. Because, like in Deep Madness, we didn't even have the extra action icons in the original campaign. So that came later as we were developing the game. So I could foresee something being used, and I mentioned this on a prior live stream, something like where you get 2 extra mental capacity or 3 extra mental capacity or something like that when you're doing it solo or with fewer wanderers. to help you balance that out. And I'm not sure if that's going to be in the game or not. That's just my thoughts off the top of my head, but hopefully that helps a little bit. Yeah, yes, Russ, I am still live and alive, surprisingly, considering this stupid cold. But anyways, yes, we are still here, and sorry that you probably posted that comment a long time ago. Okay, so I'm going to try to catch up a little bit here, guys. All spooky peer pressure making you disbelieve what's going on. True statement. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Russ, this is a great question. Byron, could you give a little info as to the difference between Eminent Glory as the final boss and as a summon? Well, in one, she's on your side. So when you summon Eminent Glory using the Glory ability of Linus's, she is there to help you because the problem is that when she comes to help you, which is probably going to be limited to once per chapter because it's super powerful, and potentially OP. But so when you summon her, she's there to smack up the Abomination some. So she'll come in, she'll do some damage to the Abomination or whatever. But then she's also going to give you story points toward your worst ending, potentially a lot of them. So you're going to move farther and farther towards her corrupting you, and forcing you into being someone you don't want to be. So so the summon, she's helping you. She's Eminent Glory is helping you, kind of like the Malformations. They're helping you with their coda cards and their gifts, and here, have some memory fragments, and yes, but they're also moving you directly into the worst ending imaginable. So, and then obviously, after you've summoned her in all 4 campaigns, you get the worst ending. And so then she is no longer fun and happy and fancy free, and she's no longer trying to take out the Abomination for you. Now she's trying to actively destroy you, corrupt you, eat your face, so on and so forth. So it's really just a difference between whose side is she on? So hopefully that helped answer your question a little bit there. And Gigek, and I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. I'm glad it was helpful. No clue what we're referring to at this point, but glad it helped. Okay, so let's see. Oh no, just jumped. Spoiler, anti-Gloomhaven. Some use red filter, some use an app, some use a different book, or jump to another book with an index or page number. Oh dear, I have no clue what this is referring to, Marquis, and I apologize. If it is referring to Dawn of Madness, let me know. If it's referring to something else, then oh well. How many chapters are there with a specific wanderer? Okay, so Carl, technically there's only 1 chapter for a specific wanderer, like say in a campaign. But when we say chapter, what we mean is their book. So each wanderer has their own book, and they're fairly lengthy books. And so when you play that wanderer's chapter, you're going to be working through their storybook. So each playthrough, you're going to get through a maximum of 25%, and that is being very generous. I think you're actually going to get closer to 20% of a given story in each playthrough. So if you look at it that way, you're technically you would have at least 4 different games, maybe 5, because the And then obviously the 4 different endings, which I should also mention, each ending also has 4 different endings. How's that for confusing? But that just felt right. So depending how well you do in your finale chapter ending, will determine which of the endings for that ending you get. But so yeah, you're going to get through a maximum of probably 20% in each playthrough, because there are certain events that you're going to trigger or certain choices you're going to make that are going to really influence other stories. So suddenly, other stories aren't even going to be available, or they'll have changed so radically that you're not going to see what you would have originally seen in that story. So hopefully that helps answer your question a little bit. I'm not positive it does, but hopefully that helps. So each Wanderer has only the one book. You're only going to play one chapter through the campaign, but that doesn't mean that that's all playability there is for that Wanderer. Fun and Crafts, welcome. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Dos de la Rosa. Okay, sounds good. Well, thanks for hanging out with us for a while, man. Have a great day. And you're probably gone by the time you, because I think I'm still way back in the comments. Oh, Russ asks, who actually does the updates? Is it you or another team member? I am up till almost 5 a.m. every single day writing updates, Russ. So yes, it is me. So another Roger, our lead game designer, he and I kind of work in tandem. He will do a lot of the graphics, and he's done most of the campaign page, or at least the graphics for the campaign page and that sort of thing. And then I will do the updates, then I'll send it to him, then we'll kind of go back and forth a little bit. And then after we do some tweaks, then then we'll send it off. But yes, I write all of the updates. And that's why I currently have a cold and am on a terrible sleep schedule. Okay, so Doc, what is the synergy fusion action? Okay, so I don't have a game board here because they're all still set up at home, dang it. But where'd my dice go? I don't know where my yellow one went. That's actually the one I want, but oh, here it is. Okay. So this focus. This is the synergy / fusion / skull symbol. So on each Wanderer's dashboard, you will have the little cup or cutout or whatever with this symbol in it. And so sorry. This symbol, when you have different cubes or metal tokens or whatever in that little cup, you're going to be able to spend those to do a fusion / synergy action. If it gets renamed synergy, then I suspect fusion will not be the name of the action anymore. And it does kind of look like it may be renamed synergy. That seems to be one that a lot of people like. But so when you do that, you're able to play one of the domain cards that we talked about earlier for another Wanderer. So the synergy action or fusion action is a way to help other players during their turn. So you're able to just spend one of those at random, and then you can play one of these cards for another Wanderer. And that way they're able to hopefully get past a test that they're having a hard time on, or you're able to or fight a monster or that sort of thing that maybe they couldn't have done before. So it's just a way to help other players in the game. So hopefully that helped answer that a little bit there. Yes, so you also can, justified through him. I think that sorry, let's take a look. I have my handy rulebook right here. Yes. So I might be wrong about that too. Because yes, you can transfer codas and memories as well. So one sec here, guys, while I make sure that what I'm telling you guys is correct and accurate. Okay, so yes, actually, I am completely wrong. So the fusion action is where you expend 3 mental capacity to give one of your coda cards to another wanderer or take one coda from another wanderer. So that's to rearrange your different abilities and that sort of thing. So but having said that, that other thing I just spend that's not an action. That's why. So it's not an action. But so if you use one of your synergies or whatever they end up being called off your dashboard, you can play a domain card for another wanderer. So sorry guys, I was getting that confused there. But yes, you are correct. Justified through him. It actually is to move your coda cards around. So sorry about that, guys. So Bashir scaling is my only reservation. I don't want solo to be almost the same with less options. It would be nice if it's thought through and not just a multi-minus sum things like Arkham LCGs did. Bashir, it's not going to be. I can guarantee you that. The Roger and Chauncey are two game designers. They're very cognizant about that stuff. So I have every hope or every what's the word? Sorry, my mind's just not here anymore, guys. Every confidence that that will get taken care of, and that any scaling issues will not be a problem. Like you know, the synergy thing and that sort of thing. I'm sure that it will be used for something. So, maybe make it justified through him says maybe make it be something that lets you discard something to draw additional coda wanderer game. But well, no, that wouldn't work justified through him just because the codas are all gotten through story events. But something like that could potentially work, or maybe it could work to get you more domain cards or that sort of thing. That could definitely be a possibility to get you more of those or to upgrade your domain limit or something like that. That's a definite possibility. The coda cards wouldn't really work because, like I said, those are tied to specific encounters, and you get them as a reward for completing those encounters. But domain cards or something like that, yeah, that could definitely work. Does anyone else think that the root looks like a guy? Yeah, I have thought that, Doc. It's not. It's a girl. She's. But on the plus side, this is family friendly, whereas anatomically accurate would not be. So, the way I can explain it is just that her flesh is so degraded that that she now looks like this. And maybe it's exposed muscles and stuff like that too. I think that could also be a possibility. But yeah, that was my first question when I saw the mini. I mean, I love this. Don't get me wrong, I love this mini, but that was my first question when Roger showed it to me was, isn't that a girl? So yes, it is a girl. This is a girl, but she does look kind of guyish. I will grant you. You're not alone there, Doc. um, Russell, just saw your your comment about eminent glory. Yes, no matter what, when Eminent Glory comes to town, eventually it's going to hurt you. Good, Doc. I'm glad you like the new staggered malformation approach there. Oh, Amy, so you're saying Facebook was hiding stuff. Would you prefer Instagram or something? You know, Probably. So I don't know why, but for some reason Facebook it's refusing to show me stuff. I think maybe some of it could be due to people's privacy settings. Like if we're not friends or whatever, then they're blocking stuff that when people's privacy settings are set wrong. But that's not a problem on Instagram or Twitter. So I've had a very easy time finding stuff on those two sites, but a very difficult time finding it on Facebook. So yeah, maybe one of those other platforms might be better, Amy, as opposed to Facebook. Um, just from a uh, yeah, from a me finding it perspective, Facebook is more useful, but if I can't find it, then I can't post it in updates. So um, Uh, Lucas, welcome, my friend. Glad you could make it. Sorry, I'm way behind in comments. So if you joined a while ago, my bad. um, Marquis de Sang, what is the system that you use to prevent spoiling what is coming next based on our choices? Story, event, and board placement. Okay, so you're going to have no clue what you're doing in a story, basically. So, but when you make certain choices, you're going to get consequence tokens, which I don't think I have here. I think they're all at my place. Oh, I do have a consequence token. Look at that. So you're going to have these consequence tokens. Blue is normally good. Red is normally bad, though sometimes we will mess with you just because that's who we are. So in certain story situations, you're going to be told to place a blue or red consequence token somewhere on the board. So when you do that, you're going to place it, like say in this location here. When you go to that location then and enter that encounter, it's going to tell you that if you got one of these tokens to go to this entry rather than another entry. So in that way, you really have no idea. You might have a hint as to what you just did, but you're not going to know for sure. So because it's tied with other different encounters and that sort of thing. Um, so hopefully that answered your question a little bit there. I'm not positive I did a great job on that. But yeah, so that consequence token, when that shows up somewhere, it's going to radically change the course of the story. Radically. Anyways, okay, Russ. Well, thanks for stopping in, man, and thanks for hanging out with us for all this time. Have a great rest of the day, man. And I probably missed you because I'm way behind in comments. Can you use the Eldritch symbol to activate the special abilities of the other die faces? Well, for the most part, Doc, a lot of the times the abilities for the different symbols are actually based off of what you have on your Wanderer's dashboard. So if for the sorry, I just completely spaced on what I was saying, guys. Sorry. Okay, so yes. So most of those are actually tied to what's on the dashboard. So you would have to have them like sentience tokens specifically in the little cutouts on your dashboard there, and then you could spend those for the different actions. There aren't very many of them that are actively tied to the die faces. Some of them are, but most of them are not. So I think the answer to your question, I'm not completely 100% certain on this, but I think in most cases it's going to be a no. That you can roll the wilds for just about any different domain symbol you would need, but you're not necessarily going to be able to use them for special abilities. I don't believe. I could be wrong about that. That could be something that Roger changes on me, or that I'm just not clear about. That's certainly possible. For the single pair, could you use a fusion action to take an extra turn or action? Yeah, Amy, I think that would be something that could really work and could actually be really cool. We'll see. Um, like I said, the guys are going to be hard at work balancing this and making sure everything works perfectly. Um, so yes, I'm sure that they will come up with something like that. I think that would work well. Um, Russell just saw your just saw all your comments, Russell. Yes, you're right. I probably need a drink. I probably need a nap, and I probably need to. uh, yes, there is not much sleep in Kickstarter in running a Kickstarter land. um, yep, family friendly. Thought we were doing an 18 plus game here. Well, I mean, you know. um, yeah, as Russell says, Byron's idea of family friendly isn't exactly the normal version. That's true. I I will admit that. I will admit that my kids often will when my kids just blurt out, "I love Stranger Things. It's my favorite show on TV." And everyone looks at them like, "You've seen what?" uh, yeah. So yes. Yes, you're probably right. My idea of family friendly probably is not others' idea of family friendly. uh, but yep. um, okay, Carl. So you're wondering, I must have missed about the metal tokens. Can you give another brief overview? Um, so, what would you like to know about them, Carl? So, um, I don't know if there's a whole lot I can really go over that we haven't really covered before. Um, in the update or whatever. But if you have something specific you want to know about them, let me know. Um, base algorithms aren't family friendly. Truth. um, um, oh, hi, Hayabusa. Good to see you. And if I'm mispronouncing your name, I'm sorry. um, great to see you, man. Welcome. Um, Long question, but what is the story behind the conception of each of the wanderers? Oh man, that is a long one. So, um, we're all pretty messed up guys. That might come as no surprise to people. And actually, I cannot take credit for the conception of the wanderers. That actually would be more Cherry and Roger, specifically those two. Chauncey to a certain degree, and then I've come in more and refined things as things have gone on. So because the Dawn of Madness started, and the ideas for the characters and that sort of thing long before I was full time with the company. So the a lot of the basic concepts for them started way back then, and then I came in later on and really refined the concepts and fleshed them out and that sort of thing. But really, Cherry and Roger specifically um, are the ones who birthed the ideas for most of the Wanderers. So I cannot take credit for those at all. Um, all the weird junk you read in the stories, yes, that's totally me. And I mean, I certainly have refined and changed the characters as we've progressed too. Um, but yeah, so I don't think that really answered your question, but um, yes. So Russ, those consequence tokens, those are a way for the story to change later. Those are not an instant change. You might not even come across or you might not even go into the entry that a consequence token is for, but because it could be down a branching path. But when you get into an encounter, you will be told, well, kind of like we showed in some of the updates. So you'll be able to choose one of the different routes you want to go, and then the other routes, they're gone. You can't get it to them in the whole rest of the game, basically. Um, they're closed to you at that point. So, but the um sorry guys, I'm just completely gone right now. Yes, so those different, but so that's kind of how you're also going to, that's also where a lot of the replayability comes in. So like so you choose this way, you go down this path, you make some really bad decisions, you get a red consequence token, it goes on another world shard or whatever, and then you get to that later in the game. So hopefully that kind of showed that a little bit too, but you're right, those are not an instant thing, those are a later in the game thing. um if they even come up at all, some in some cases they won't because you didn't choose that way. But um well, Phil, good to see you, man. Welcome. Sorry if you were here a long time ago, I'm just now getting to your comment, so um could you use the Eldritch Sentience to reroll a dice of any color? Okay, let me double check that I'm correct on this, Doc, but I'm pretty sure the answer is no. Because um uh sorry guys, one sec here. As King of Average said, I could have just flipped the index, but I didn't. um Yes. Okay. So to re-roll the dice like our beloved tentacle fingers do, slash domination or whatever they end up being called in the final game, the tentacle fingers need to be on your wanderer dashboard. So one of the sentience tokens in your little tentacle finger cup or cutout or whatever you want to call it. So you would just take one of those sentience tokens, you'd spend that to re-roll your die, and then you would go. So no, you couldn't do the sphere for that. You would have to have a actual tentacle finger on your dashboard, I believe. And I could be completely wrong about that, in which case Roger can correct me when he sees this at some point. He hopefully is not awake yet because it is very early in the morning in his part of the world. But yeah, so hopefully that helps answer your question a little bit there. Anthony, a family that degenerates into large fleshy blob together stays together. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. They have no choice in the matter, to be perfectly frank. Um, uh, I dread to think what your kids write for assignment at school if they write what I do that. My kids are much more normal than I am. I have done a great job of corrupting them, but they are also still pretty normal by my standards. So so not too much to worry about there. Just like my wife, I've done a very good job of corrupting her, but she still passes for normal, whereas I really have a hard time with it. um, how big are the metal tokens? I don't know, Phil. I have seen as much as you guys have, just those renders. So I am going to guess they're not very big because um, in with the cubes, you have to be able to fit 6 of them in one of the little cutouts. So are we still going to be able to fit 6 of them in a cutout? I don't know. Someone else mentioned stacking. That's a possibility too. But they're replacing the little cube guys here. So I don't know. I don't know how big they're going to be. Um, but we'll have more at some point in the future. um, Russ. So yeah, we definitely have kind of our. You're saying the team seem to choose regular people, such as a nurse, priest, etc., that they completely warp, so that you never look at those types of people the same way ever again. Yeah, that's pretty much accurate. I mean, hopefully you don't see every nurse as Emily Hawkins, because that would be really scary and sad. But um, but but yeah, I mean, they're all fairly normal folk, at least on the outside. But it's what's on the inside that counts, right? um, okay, let's see here. Just jumped again. Sorry, guys. Um, Himley, I just saw your reply to Phil there about them getting stuck in people's noses. Yeah, exactly. Um, well, Amy, thank you so much for being here, and have a great rest of your Saturday, or whatever day it happens to be for you. And talk with you later. You're probably gone by the time I say this, but hey, um, so my tree. Fun and crafts, I fear that your dream of half-size minis for the tracker board is probably out of the question. Sorry. I have a feeling that those are not going to change from standees. I mean, maybe if we were at like 2 or 3 million and people were like clamoring to get those little half-size minis because they would be adorable. I grant you, they would be adorable. Then maybe, but that's not where we're at. So yeah, unfortunately, I think you might not get your half size minis. Sorry about that. Um, as Uncle Byron promises lots of great things again. No. um, okay, so let's see here. You're slowly losing the plot completely. I'm amazed you have lasted nearly 2 hours. Yes, you're absolutely right there, Russ. I am completely losing it. Absolutely. um, yep, yep. There's not much sanity left here. I fear. Um, oh, Phil. So this is a good question. Is the neoprene being packaged rolled or folded? I am going to do everything in my power to ensure that it is rolled, because we all know how much those creases suck. So, yes, I'm going to try to make sure that that is shipped in a tube, or something similar, rather than being folded. Um, it's not going to fit in the box anyway, so what's the point of trying? Um, okay. Uh, Okay, so also in the pledge manager, can you only add once that it is locked, or can you add chunks of stuff over the course of several months? So Phil, what we did in well, you probably know this, but what we did in the Deep Madness, at least the reprint, and I think the original one too, was we had PayPal as an option. So because PayPal was an option, people could pay for it over time. So like, which to me is amazing. I'm I'm almost never going to have as much as I need to get everything I want at one time. So, um, so you're going to, we're going to do the same thing with this one. Chances are looking very good. We'll use backer kit again because we know how it works and all that sort of thing. Unless I can sway them to try the Game Found Awakened Realms one because it's so much cheaper. But we'll probably end up using backer kit. And if we do end up using backer kit, we will have that PayPal option available, because it is so nice for people. And to be able to pay over time rather than to get hit with a $600 bill or whatever when, whoa, surprise, the campaign locked. so, um, so yes, you will be able to pay over time. I can 98% guarantee that. Um, he's promised all sorts of shiny things for Christmas. You know, guys, people, the team pretty soon won't let me do these lives anymore. Just saying. um, um, the priest ain't normal no matter what way you view him. Well, he's more normal than Catherine is. Way more normal. Uh, Catherine is just completely crazy. And Emily tries to not be, she tries to be normal. She's just not very good at it. And the detective also, he really tries to be normal. Once again, he's just not good at it. Um, uh, as soon as you see a tentacle, scream and run unless you're stuck in a wheelchair. Anthony, I have no context for this comment, but that is awesome. Oh, we're talking about the half-size minis. Yes, you are correct. As soon as we see a tentacle, scream and run, then maybe singing the Hallelujah chorus or something. Yes, then maybe the oh crap, now someone's gonna do that as a social stretch goal. Oh dear, what have I done? It's not gonna happen. Come on, made a huge 2-foot high mini. Maybe you could make a 2-foot standing just for fun. I mean, I suppose anything is possible in this weird world we live in, but I'm going to say the chances are not very likely, Marquis. Nor for Phil's comment about a life-size Byron standee. I feel like when you used to go to the store and they'd have those giant cutouts of like singers or whatever that you could put in your room. Yes, everyone wants one of those of me just hovering over them as they're sleeping or whatever. I dread what people would do with a life-size Byron. Yes, exactly, Emily. You nailed it. uh, oh my gosh, you have a life-size Cohen the Barbarian. That's awesome, Phil. Himley, yes. So, like I said, I um, if I can sway the team to game found, then I will. But they also know all the ins and outs of backer kit, and so that definitely has them that definitely is a plus in backer kit's direction. Plus, we've been doing some marketing with backer kit and that sort of thing. But we'll see. I'm totally on board with Game Found myself. I think they have a really nice system. Um, life size Byron standee family friendly. Guess it depends what you're gonna do with it, Gek. um, um, yeah, Phil, you don't have to jump all in at once. Absolutely not. Even in the pledge manager, you don't have to jump all in at once, regardless of whichever one we use. Are the one oh Doc, this is a great question. Are the Wanderer deep dives spoiler free in the introductory sense? I would say for the most part, yes. Um, I have tried hard to leave out certain elements of the stories. So yes, I think that it's probably safe to say that for the most part they are spoiler free. Are they completely spoiler free? Probably not, but neither are movie trailers. So um, that's kind of what I would say on those. Um, yeah, probably 80 to 90% spoiler free. Um, uh, Phil, I just saw your comment here about the bathophobia Santa Claus, which I was very proud of, by the way. I still have that picture saved on my computer. Um, Batho Claus, I believe I called it. Um, but which Don character is going to be Christmas poster boy this year? Well, which one do you guys want? I can put a Santa hat on any of them. um, so, um, if I had a life-size Byron, I'd cut holes in the eyes and use LEDs to make them glow, make some tentacles, etc., to encompass him, then stand him in the bay window facing the street. Ah! Ah! Oh, that's awesome. Now you just have to sell the rest of the team on it, Russ, because I'm sold. So Anthony, yes, CrowdOx is pretty good as a pledge manager too. You're absolutely right. And actually, they've been trying to talk with us. We've just been terrible about returning emails. So if you're listening, CrowdOx guys, I'm sorry. It's not you. um, but yeah, they've actually been trying to talk with us, and we've just been so terrible about returning notes or whatever. But I think I don't know that there's my personal preference. I think that between BackerKit and CrowdOx, maybe I'm just more familiar with BackerKit. I would tend to go with them over CrowdOx just because I don't know. Maybe I just know BackerKit's platform much better. And I know that CrowdOx has really improved over the last couple of years. But and plus then you can pay right up front and that sort of thing. That's all great stuff. So yeah, CrowdOx is definitely a good choice too. But if I was going to sway the team towards another one, it would probably be GameFound because, as was mentioned previously, it's free. So it's just a matter of, can I sway them towards one of those at all? Do these things always go downhill when I'm on, or are things always this mad? Well, by this point, and it depends, I guess, Phil. If you're always signing in for the last half, then yeah, you're probably right. It is when you sign in that you're always going downhill. It seems like it's about at the halfway point where we start just devolving into into this random stuff. But yeah. Anyways, I've been tipping him over the edge all stream. Yeah, exactly. Okay. As all of the concept work for this game was done years ago, have you had access to any other work by Roger and Cherry for other potential future games? Yeah, so we've got a couple other games coming out, Hayabusa. And once again, if I'm mispronouncing your name, I'm very sorry. But first of all, there's Celestial, which hopefully, fingers crossed, will be coming out sometime next year. That one's going to be huge, and that one is going to be epic. So that's definitely coming up down the pipeline. And if you haven't seen the models, unfortunately, I don't have any here because they're all at my house. But you could go to here. Let me make sure I have the right web address for you to check those out. I think I do. Sorry for the camera wobbling, guys. I'm on a really wobbly little table here. Okay, yep. Okay. So if you want to check out some of the Himley, it's funny. Originally, we were thinking about maybe launching Celestial as a winter campaign. It will never happen now, ever again. We are never doing a winter campaign again as long as I breathe, if I have any say in it. Which, having said that, this was not supposed to be a winter campaign, so this was supposed to be like way earlier than winter. But it is what it is, and we are where we are. Okay, but so let me put that celestial link down here. So if you want to take a look at some of the minis, you can. They're insane. So they are um, completely crazy minis. But okay, and then so there's another game coming up too. It's a much smaller game. It's a more it's our potential retail game essentially, called Twisted Fables, and that one's going to be a ton of fun. That's a more of a one versus one, two versus two brawl with some really messed up fairy tale characters. So, anyways, uh, I wish for a life-size version of Dom, full-size miniatures, and 200-foot tall board. Well, Marquis, we can all dream, and in our dreams, anything are possible. Fun and crafts spider lady crawling down your chimney this December 25th. Spider lady does seem like a pretty natural fit there. You're right. Ah, that's awesome. Um, it might also be that Byron has had too much cough medicine. I think the problem, Himley, is that I haven't had any. So, what is the Doc is asking? What is the ETA on an updated rulebook? I doubt it's going to be before the end of the campaign, Doc, because we're going to need to redo a lot of it. But I would imagine at some point in the coming weeks and or maybe a couple of months, we might be able to get an updated rulebook out to you guys. Um, like I said, like I said earlier in the feed, once this campaign's over, I'm flipping I'm flipping over to Shattered Seas and I'm going to try to isolate myself as much as possible. So I won't be there as much for editing and that sort of stuff. Maybe. I mean, unless I need to be. But so it might be a little while. Um, oh yes, Russ. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Sorry. But yeah, so it might be a little bit before we can get you an updated rulebook, Doc. But we will get it. It will come. Just as you've seen with everything in this campaign, I hope. We are very much wanting backer feedback on it. So you guys will all get a crack at it long before it's finalized, to make sure everything's easy to read and that sort of thing. So, yes. Um, um, family with a Santa hat on dad, reindeer antlers on mom, and elf hats on the kids. That is also a great idea, Phil. I love that as well. um, okay, so let's see here. I think the next installment of the universe is already in the planning stage. Yes, that is correct, Russ. And we're definitely already starting to make plans for Deep Madness 2 or whatever you want to call it. Though, I mean, with our track record so far, is it going to be just like Deep Madness? Probably not, but I mean, it might be closer than Dawn of Madness. I don't know. But yes, so that's definitely in the planning stages at this point. And then, I'm sure there's other stuff coming down the pipeline as well. Since your models are 3D CG models, it would be cool to have a Dom VR, like Catan VR. Yes, it would be, Marquis de saying. The only problem is, as soon as we hear anything app or program related, we all go. We had a very bad experience with our scenario creation kit. So I don't know that anything specifically app related, especially more what's the word? Intensively app related would happen. Having said that, something like an audio app or something like that for reading the stories, that could happen potentially, since mainly that would just be an audiobook broken into different segments. Um, and that's something I want to talk with the team about. But a more in-depth app, we're not so good with the apps, so we don't want to promise something that we're not so good with. Anyways, Deep Dawn of Madness top trumps. I have no idea what that refers to, Phil, and I apologize. um, but just ever. Yes, Russ has a difficult time with Chauncey's name because of the Pokemon. So, in retrospect, it might not be the best name for him to go by, but it is the only name he goes by. Anyways, um, would love a DM reprint with Pokemon replacements. I don't know that you need us to do that, Himley. You could do that yourself. All you would have to do is go to the store and get some of those tiny little Pokemon, and then you could, rename some of the monsters, use their stat cards as Pokemon, and then you could throw one out and say, "Twisted, I choose you," or something like that. I could see that working. Yeah, definitely. Some excellent Deep Madness, Dawn of Madness art card tarot decks. So, Anthony, we actually kind of did something similar to that in the last campaign with the Chongwan cards. So they're really big. They're not tarot. They're bigger than tarot actually, but they're the same size as the world shards are going to be in Dawn of Madness, I believe. But Bebo, hey man, good to see ya. But anyways, so I mean, yeah, something like that is potentially doable. But I don't know if it's going to happen in this campaign or not. So let's see. If you push me long enough, will you descend into madness on this live stream? It's very possible, Doc. It's entirely possible. I know there's been some talk about a DM RPG, but don't remember if it was you who said anything about it or just we, the community. No, actually, we said something about it, Himley. But having said that, I haven't heard anything about it for a very long time. So I don't know what the status of it is, but it's something that I would love to have. And I know a lot of other people would love to have it too. So it's just a question of, is it in development or not? I hope it is, but I have not heard anything about it for a very long time. So we'll have to see. And it's possible that, early stuff wasn't working for it or whatever. So we had to, scrap an early version. But we'll see. And yes, Phil is correct. So in the very first live stream we did, it was awful. So I looked kind of like a big waving field of pixels or something. I don't know. It was really interesting. So yes, there definitely was some madness in that particular live stream. Yes, so an audio app book or whatever would be, yeah, I agree with you, Himley. I think that would be a really cool thing to do with this one. I just have to, talk with the team about it. And it might be something that we don't even really address during the campaign. It might be something we address after the campaign. Maybe if we end up having like pledge manager stretch goals or something like that. Because I have a feeling it would probably take a lot of time to do it. So probably we would want to have it be an actual stretch goal, but I don't know for sure. Any chance of an official Deep Madness FAQ or FAQ? Phil, yes, I believe there is definitely a chance of that. We just have to get around to doing it. So, but yes, I definitely think that there is a chance of that. And that explains that thing behind him. Yes, I am joined by all my friends and my friends. um, DG stuff. Anyways, um, I finally got Byron in on the Pokemon thing. What till he next talks? um, now that the campaign is nearly over, how would you evaluate the likelihood of seeing a draft of the new board before the end of the campaign? Likely or unlikely? Unlikely. Unfortunately, Bashir, I would say it's probably unlikely because we have to recreate all the art for it. So, I mean, we could show you the little janky graphic we have that has the different white spots posted all over it for the world shards, but it doesn't look good. um, um, but the actual board, I don't think we're going to have it in the. I don't think we'll have it before the end of the campaign. We it takes a long time to get the board nailed down, and I mean the team has completely floored and surprised me a number of times during this campaign. So I can't say it's entirely impossible, but I will say it's probably unlikely. So, um, sorry about that, but we will show it to you guys as soon as it's available, as soon as we have something to show you, apart from our crummy one with just a bunch of white boxes all over it. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Bashir. We don't want to. We've done enough of that. Anyways, um, any news on whether community going to be involved in putting forward ideas for the Dawn or Deep crossover cards? So Phil, I think that that's probably going to be something that would be after the campaign. I don't foresee that being in the campaign because we still have a lot of stuff to cover before the end of the campaign, including if we end up doing the boxes or not, which I still don't know if we are, but I know we're getting closer to the point where we could say it's a possibility. So there's a lot of stuff still to cover in the rest of this campaign. So I kind of doubt that it'll be during the campaign, but maybe after. We'll have a lot of time for people to offer feedback and that sort of thing as we move forward in the campaign. So hopefully that helped answer your question. I'm not sure if it did or not, but oh no, now I have these dice in my hand, so I'm just going to be playing with them all the rest of it. Anyways, Byron's other friends are all in his head. Who told you, Russ? Anyways, maybe put up a vote to see if people are prepared to pay for an audiobook for DM. I mean, if you can't justify the cost without add-ons, so to say. Yeah, that's an interesting idea, Himley. I'd hate to make people pay for it though. But I mean, possibly. If that's the only way we could do it, then maybe. But yeah, I'd really hate to have people have to pay for that. But we'll see. Not sure if you got this read, but what is the level of storytelling? Oh, I'm sorry, Doc. I completely missed that comment. No, I saw it and then it flew away. So it's a very good question. The level of storytelling for the Abominations, is it solely through the Resistant cards and Abominations board? So there's most of their story is actually through their confrontation cards. I don't know if I have any of those here. Let me check. Nope, I don't have any of my big cards. Dang it. So I was initially trying to throw out the idea of them having like their own storybook, but that was going to cost a lot of money. So as of right now, most of their story is on their confrontation cards, and it's up near it's like the top half of their card. So it's currently in very, very tiny text, but I'm going to ensure that the team enlarges said text so that it is readable. But yeah, so most of their story currently is in those is on the top half of those confrontation cards. Then there's also a little bit with resistance cards, mixing them together. The problem with doing that too much, I mean, yes, it's basically like the malformations saying, "Hey, we're going to attack this thing" or whatever, because you can't really integrate them fully because you don't know who's going up against who. Um, could oh probably not, Russell, because sorry, I just saw your comment here. Could the text go on the back like the Wanderer dashboards are? I don't think so because it's an actual deck of cards. So probably a better option, especially now that they don't have to be on the board, might be to increase the size of the cards. And I'm sure we'll talk about that as we progress through the campaign or whatever. But I think it would be a better option to increase the size of the card rather than to put the story on the back, because then you could just read the back of the card and you would know exactly what confrontation card you're about to get. So I don't think that would work, though it is a good idea. I'm just not sure it would work in the game. But yeah, so most of their story for the most part is on those cards for now. If I'm able to, I'm going to put in more story for them because each family does have their own story behind it. Obviously, like with the masquerades and their masks and basically just being full of lies and stuff. And then uh, even like the terrors. Well, I've shown a couple in the most recent posts. All of them have their own little backstories and stuff. So and that goes for the distortion terrors. I still call them. I still think of them as distortions. The ones that aren't tied to a specific wanderer, as well as the ones that are tied to a specific wanderer, the aberration terrors. So yeah, I would be surprised if we didn't have a little bit more story for the abominations. But currently, as of right now, most of their story is on their their confrontation cards, as well as then on their dashboards a little bit. So hopefully that answered your question a bit there, Doc. Will the DM crossover cards be translated? Yes, Andy, they will. They will be translated just like all the rest of the stuff for Dawn of Madness. So yes, no worries there. I do kind of want you to continue reading the chapters of the novel. I'm glad you enjoyed that, Russ. We'll see. I mean, it depends if I end up doing the audiobook, I guess. Or if we have someone else do it. One way or another, people will be reading the book. It's just a matter of if it's me or not. Agreed, would prefer not to pay, but would be willing to pay if it's the only way to get it done. Yes, I completely agree with you, Himley. If it's the only way to do it, then yes, that's a good way to do it. I hope it's not the only way to do it, as you obviously do too, because we don't want to pay more money, right? But yes, I think that really is something that we need to have for this game. We'll see when we can do it, or how we can do it. Also, community cards, as mentioned earlier, like in DM, would be awesome. Yeah, it would be. I don't know if it's going to happen at this point or not, but it would definitely be awesome. It's something we haven't really talked about much yet, but it would be really cool. So, we'll see. We'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can do, because we're unfortunately getting really close to the end of this campaign. So yeah, it's going to be harder to start fitting stuff in, I fear, than it would have been, earlier in the game or whatever, or in the campaign. Well, thanks, Doc. I will do my best and talk with you later. Thanks for stopping by. Um, okay, so let's see here. Okay, so I think you bet. Absolutely, Doc. Thanks for being here. It's a ton of fun hanging out with all you guys. Um, and I would be up for reading your fan stories there, Russell. Um, yeah, I might. Yeah, so context always is kind of kind of tricky, isn't it? Um, but yeah, I would love to see your fan stuff when you get it written. So well, any other, because I just realized we've been going for 2 hours and 15 minutes, so I should probably start winding us down again. So any other comments or questions or anything that you guys want me to cover real fast before we wrap this one up? Um, there you go. A match made in gooey tentacle underwater world. um, okay, well, any other questions or anything that you guys want me to answer? Oh, I haven't shown like hardly any minis. Does anyone want to see minis or anything? Um, any minis people want to see? I don't have. Gate is like almost done, but I couldn't quite finish it in time for the stream. Um, uh, but anything else people want to see or anything? Um, uh, no, I don't. I so technically Gate is like Numina Gate is like 3/4 done. I was so trying to have it done for the stream, but it's sitting over there uncleaned with a bunch of supports hanging off it, needing pieces glued on. So it'll have to wait for the next one. But okay, so oh, did I find the mongrels? No, I didn't. But let me search again. Uh, one sec. Let me see if I can find a mongrel. Oh, and Numinas. Okay. Okay, Gigek. Well, thanks for hanging out with us, man. Have a good sleep. Oh, mongrels, where are you? Where are you, mongrels? Of course, I guess you guys will see them soon enough, since the first one's going to be in the next update. But I believe I know I've got some mongrels here somewhere. I think. Maybe not. Mm. Maybe I left them all at my house. That's possible. Maybe that's likely, even. Huh. Yeah, I don't seem to have any mongrels, guys. I'm sorry. But have you, so I know a lot of you have seen the Numinas at this point, but wonders if mongrels are really on the loose somewhere. Exactly. Did they get in the house? um so let's see, any others here? No, Carl, I do not. Those are the mongrels, and unfortunately I don't have them here apparently. Um but okay, so I can, well, I can at least show you guys uh I can at least show you guys these two Numina. I think you guys have probably seen them again or before if you were in the campaign or in previous live streams. And I haven't printed bases for them yet, but obviously you've got um, Creation and you've got Cosmos here. Um, which are pretty awesome. Two of my favorite minis ever. Really love them so much. Um, Yes, I have a little bit better lighting this time, so I think that that is probably helping, Russell. Um, yeah, because the screen is definitely clearer and it's definitely focusing better. Um, I I brought some of my lights from my house, so yeah. Um, so yeah, those are two of the numinas. I have gate, like I said, almost done. It was so close. That was one of the reasons that was the main reason I was late, was I was trying to get that one finished to show you guys. But but yeah, so I'll definitely have gate for the next one, and I'll hopefully have lore for the next one too. We'll have to see. But where are we meant to put our short stories? Oh, Phil, that's a good question. Okay, so if you put them in, so I actually saw your last one, so it'll be in one of the next updates, Phil. Um, but either social media or one of the updates, because if it's in just the comments, it's going to get lost. And specifically, if it could be in the update where I announced the social stretch goals initially, that would probably be really good. But like I said, I did see yours, and I'll get it in there as soon as I can. When will we get the clock mini? I hope there is a huge influx of money here, but seems a long way to go. So we're not going to leave you guys hanging. I mean, I don't know how it's going to work yet. I don't know if it's going to be pledge manager stretch goals, or if it's just going to be an open unlock or whatever. We'll have to see about that. Um, but we're one way or another, you guys are going to get it. I could pretty much guarantee it. Whether it's in the campaign or after the campaign, it's going to happen. So yes, you will get the clock mini. And I mean, I don't know. Have we done the storybook for it yet? Even so, you'll get the storybook too, because without it, what's the point? um. Uh. Okay, so Himley, yeah. So what printer am I using for printing these? I have an Elegoo Mars. It is just a little $250 printer on Amazon, and its quality is astounding. I highly recommend it. It is a fantastic little printer. Um, I think they're on sale again. They have sales every once in a while. Technically, the retail price is like 430, but they have sales often where it's around 250, 260, somewhere around there. So yes, I highly recommend that printer. It is a fantastic little printer. Um, and then Carl's asking, how does the stage work for the actor? So it's going to be similar. Here, I don't have it printed yet because it doesn't exist yet. But let's see here. Where are all my pieces? Here they are. Here we go. Okay, so it's going to be a multi-part mini. So kind of like the ritual here. Come on, focus. Focus on the ritual. So the ritual here, he is must resist sticky. Yes, it does. It does indeed, Russ. You're absolutely right. The sticky residue goes everywhere. And it probably doesn't help that the stuff is like super toxic. But yeah, so uh um so like for example, let's see, this fits in here somewhere. Oh well, whatever. So the ritual has these little pieces, other pieces that come together with him. Oh, here we go. There's one. That's where that's supposed to go. To form the complete model or mini. So need to magnetize the ritual. Yeah. Except that you don't want these pieces to come together. You're actively trying to stop them from coming together and becoming one. So You don't want them to become one big thing. Um, but the so there's going to be these different pieces working their way across the board, trying to combine with him and really not the way I play. Let's bring it up. Ah, um, but yeah, so you're gonna try to be stopping these columns from coming together to complete him. And I have a feeling the stage is going to be similar in that there are several different minis that make up the full stage. So you've got the main guy there, um, hashtag not king in the yellow. And then you've got the other pieces of the stage too. So I'm going to imagine that that is a multi-part mini, just like Ritual here, that will come together over the courses of the finales to create this epic, horrific stage thing. um, so hopefully that helped answer that a little bit. Obviously, it's going to help much more when the mini is finished and I can actually show you guys. But in the meantime, hopefully that helps a little bit there. Where am I? Oh, oh, probably because I'm not at my house. I'm actually at my in-laws' house. uh, we, yeah, I mean, totally just almost all of my live streams this campaign have been there. My mother-in-law had a knee replacement, so my wife and I have been helping them. So that's been going on in addition to the Kickstarter campaign. Um, but yeah, so any turn counter. So the turn counter isn't done yet, Phil, as far as I'm aware. So I can't show it to you, unfortunately. But there will be a turn counter. What will it be made of? I don't know. That might be another pledge manager stretch goal if we end up doing those, or it might be a sorry, a pledge manager stretch goal if we end up doing those, or it could be something else. It also could just be cardboard if it's not like an actual mini. But yeah, those I have not seen what that looks like yet, but there will be one. Okay, so let's see. Clock Byron promised. Yeah, I mean, I pretty much did promise on that one. I pretty much did. And yes, the sticky residue once again. Yep. And the sticky residue comments then flow. uh, yes, Russ, I completely understand what you're saying with the finding stuff just everywhere from your resin printers. Everywhere. Just it appears in the randomest places. Yep. I totally hear you on that. Having said that, the quality between that as opposed to like I mean, I know the quality has gone up on the extruder ones, but oh my goodness, the quality is so incredible on the resin printers that it's worth all the mess for me. Um, but the Byron promised turn counter. Well, I mean, if you don't have a turn counter, how are you gonna know which round you're on? But um, I sent some electromagnet fun with that one. Make the columns fly across the board. uh, column, I choose you. Zink. um, okay. Uh, okay, Bebo, any chance to get a pre-shade pledge for the minis like from all of your pictures? They look absolutely amazing. Okay, so I have a confession with most of our pictures. They are not actual pictures, they're renders. So we found an artist who actually did a lot of the sculptures or sculpts for Celestial. He did these renders of one of the Celestial models. We were like, oh, that's amazing. So we had him just do renders of most of our models, which is why they look the way they do. um, but yeah, so unfortunately, probably not. We probably will not be able to do the a pledge level where we pre-shade. Like we were discussing earlier in the live stream, Bebo. The First of all, Awaken Realms, who really started this thing, they started off as a painting studio. So that's one advantage they have. The other advantage they have is there's like 40 of them, and there's like 5 of us. so so probably not, because we would have to do it out of house. It would be super expensive, and it would be a bad deal all the way around for everyone, I think. And also, then we couldn't really maintain quality, because it's not like we could look at every one of them before they go out, that sort of thing. So, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen, unfortunately. Sorry about that, but yes, she's actually moving around a lot better already, Russ. Um, yeah, so you know where I'm coming from. So, yeah, she's doing a lot better. Thanks for asking. Small smoke machines in the pillars. I'll leave that one to you guys to figure out. Uh, um, uh, yeah. So surprise, Phil. Rut is a girl. I mean, I the only way I could really explain it is like she's kind of degraded, maybe. Or maybe she's several people who have fused into one. Um, but yeah, she's totally supposed to be a girl. uh, uh, anyways, um, uh, yeah, I completely agree with you on that, Russell. As far as the FDM thing, I mean, yeah, resin is such a pain. It is so messy, but man, you get some awesome looking stuff out of it. So I don't think I'll ever go back to FDM. I'm, uh, I don't know. I can think of some reasons why I would, involving really large things. But they're also making really large resin printers now. So, anyways. And it's your fault I'm quoting Pokemon. You know it. um, yeah, exactly, Himley. So yeah, they've got a lot of things going for them in that regard that we just do not. um, uh, let's see. She's been flayed. Exactly. Well, I mean that kind of goes with the story too. I mean, she is a dead girl coming back to life, essentially. But yeah, Chodor, I would be all for that too. I don't know if that's possible at this point or not. But if it is possible at this point, yes, I would be up for making her a bit more feminine. Um, I mean, just so she looked feminine at all. Because she is supposed to be his daughter. But um uh Phil, don't get any nasty ideas. That's his daughter right there. Oh wait, okay, so I've got his models here somewhere. Let me find them and show you guys. Um okay. Let's see if I've got the painted ones. I think I do. Oh, painted minis. Are you not seeing the expression on his face? Oh my gosh. um, where'd all his models go? Oh, here's one. Okay. Oh, they're in the other box. That's why. One sec, guys. Sorry for getting really up close and personal. Sorry. All right. Okay. Here we go. No, it is actually his daughter in the clockmaker's story, um, rather than uh, rather than a wife or that sort of thing. Okay, here we go. All four of them. I have a storage solution, Phil. Unfortunately, it involves like 5 different boxes because there's too many of them. Okay, so here's clockmaker number 1. See if I can get to focus. Several of people have mentioned I should do like a little light box thing. Well, I don't think I've got anything like that right here at hand right now. So, okay, so there's one. Oh no! Here's 2. And here's 3. So, and this is the one in question. So if you look, she's actually just like resting her head on his knee. See, there is. Okay, dang it. Come on, fuzzy camera. Focus. I know you can. You did it earlier. And her head is even turned to the side. See, it's perfectly normal. I mean, apart from, whatever. Yeah, a sheet of paper maybe, except I don't have any of those handy either. But anyway, and then here's number 4. So in this one, she's actually like working with a crank in his chest, and he has just become this automaton robot monster thing. He went a little too far in his quest to bring her back. But so, yes. Crafting an all-in Eldritch Horror foam core organizer while listening to you. Really? Well, that's interesting, Bashir. But yes, so let's see, any other. I shan't say what I was gonna. I'm not sure, honestly, what the scale is, Russell. That's something I probably should know, but I do not. I'm not sure if it's 32 or 28. Russ. And with that, we're done. We're done. Oh my gosh. That's why I'm laughing, Russ. I just saw what you wrote. I'm not going to read it out loud. No, I'm not. Oh man. Anyways, yes, Phil, you're right. We definitely should have some 360-degree turntables and that sort of thing. You wrote Byron. Okay, so yes, bringing it back around. Yes, you're correct. We definitely need some 360-degree pictures or that sort of thing, because these minis are also very different than a lot of minis in that most minis have like a focal point, like you're focusing on them and this is what you see. But in these minis, every single side of them has something different going on. So you're really missing something without seeing the full 360-degree turnaround. So yes, you're absolutely right. It's something we need to do. Um, and yes, Himley is correct. That would mess up the paint. Um, okay. Um, yeah. So part of the reason they weren't done near the start, closer to the start fill, is because I was so focused on making videos that that's all I could do. So unfortunately, the making of videos really hurt a lot of things in the campaign. But it is what it is. Um, so that's why I didn't have more story content early on in the campaign, and why it seemed like for this story-driven game we had almost no stories. It's because I was so focused on doing other things that I literally had no time to do anything else. So, oh well, it is what it is. But I'm glad that you're enjoying them now. So, um, yes, Adam. Oh, Adam. I don't know if I've seen you on here yet. Hi. Anyways, um, I shall break him on the final day as well. I totally believe you will, Russ. I have complete faith you can do that. Um, uh, okay, so that's well. Okay, guys. So we have almost gone for 3 hours now. So we should probably call it quits. um, but so any last second questions or anything like that? Hi and bye. Yeah. Because we should probably wrap this up. Um, oh man, yeah, you are. I believe you. I believe you. Okay. Well, Ignacio, hi and bye. Well, it's been a blast, guys, and we will do this on the final day of the campaign, and we'll do it probably starting at 2 p.m. and we'll probably run for well, okay, so we keep going longer every single live stream, but um bad timing. Um okay. So I'll just answer this really fast before we go. Um okay, so I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name as well there too. But for the Italian translation, we still are way low on the number of backers. So unfortunately, at this point, we need a lot of backers to say that they want it because we are way below the threshold at this point. Um, so I, I don't know. I don't know at this point about the Italian translation. Um, 24-hour last day of the campaign live stream. I don't think Ignacio. Anyways, um I don't know where we're going to be at with the Italian translation. I absolutely want it to happen, but the financial reality is if we don't have significantly more backers who say they want it than we currently do, um, then I don't know that it's going to happen at this point. Um, Now, if we have a sudden influx um, of Italian backers who want it, then I will be thrilled. I will be absolutely thrilled. But as of right now, we're less than half of what we need. Even with I've had several offers for people to help with the translation, like uh, Fabio Folletti and a few others. But it's not even so much even just the translation. The translation is very expensive, but it's also the producing it. We have to have a minimum order quantity before we can even agree, and so far we're way below that order quantity. So I'm sorry to say that and kind of end this on a bummer. Um, Having said that, is it still possible? Yeah, we still have 3 days left in the campaign, but we would need a lot of backers in those 3 days. So I'll keep pushing it, and we can keep hoping. And maybe in the PM, the pledge manager or something, possibly, if there's a lot of people. Now, print on demand wouldn't work for this Himley because there's just too much stuff. At least I don't think it would. And man, it would be expensive. Holy crud, it would be expensive. Um, but I mean, maybe. Um, but yeah, so I'm sorry for the kind of bad news there, but if it's possible, we're going to do it. It's just right now it's not. So, um, okay. So, anyways, having said that, guys, um, 12 hours. Yes, if we aim for 12 hours, we will go to 24. That is absolutely true because this was going to be a short one today. uh, um, Yeah, it would get rid of the X number of backers needed, Himley, but the problem is that there's just so much that would need done. I mean, you're looking at so many decks of cards, so many books, the rule book, the um, um, and then the box, because we're actually translating the boxes this time too. Um, because we're doing full translations. So in this case, we probably couldn't do the box, but if we were doing a uh, a print and play or print on demand, but it would just no, it wouldn't just be the books. It would be like thousands of cards in various different sizes. So yeah, therein lies the rub. If it were just the books, yeah, we could totally print on demand those, but um yeah, it wouldn't be. So you would end up paying probably 2 or 3 times the normal price for the game, and that's without any profit to us, just to get them printed. Um, so, yeah. Having said that, yeah. Okay, so we have now gone. Well, that's what we were talking about, Russell. But I, mm, or print on demand is what we're actually talking about. But um, oh man, you're gonna miss it, Bebo. No, we're more important than Star Wars, aren't we? I kid. um, but I don't know. Maybe if it was entirely on the Italians to print it themselves, potentially. But oh my goodness, that would be a lot of work. Um, a ton of work. But I could bring it up with the team, and we could see if that's a possibility. It's just wow, you would have to be a really dedicated Italian backer to want to do that. But anyways, we should probably call it quits, guys. So, um, have a great rest of the day and enjoy the rest of your Saturday or Sunday or wherever you happen to be in the world. Um, yeah, I'll try rest, but that's been pretty normal at this point. But anyways, um, okay, William, I will try to get back to you on that. Like I said, I have not been so great with the returning communications, but I will get back to you as soon as I can. So thank you for sending that. Um, so Sunday, yeah, there you go. Well, have a great day, Himley. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for almost 3 hours. Yeah, we almost hit 3 hours this time. So thanks for hanging out, Bashir, and Andy, and all you guys, and um, All right. Talk with y'all later. Bye for now.